This conference will now be recorded.
Hi everyone, can you all hear me? Okay. Okay, so let us get started. So yesterday, most of the time we have spent working on the hands-on exercises, right? So few things I wanted to tell is if you go to creating parameters section on the slide number day three, you have certain hands-on exercises. Hands-on number 8 and 9, you can do that. One of the question I want to highlight here is do the exact same exercise as above, but now create parameter for measures. So just like yesterday, you created a parameter for country and some other column department. That was for the character column, right? And in the numeric column, you always looked at sales amount. On similar lines, can we create a parameter for the measure also? If we want users to select either of like sales cost, sales amount, profit, quantity. So there will be two drop downs. That means there will be there will be two drop downs. That means two parameters. And for those two parameters, their corresponding calculated fields. Okay, so try this out. That is one. If you go to the dynamic calculations also, yesterday you have looked at this band less than 2K, band 2K to 4K. Now, there is also one more hands-on exercises. You can also, try this out. Now, today, we will start with learning different types of, charts which are available in Tableau. Now, the very first one is histograms using bins. So, anyone is aware of, heard about what is histogram? Why do we use it? In SAS, you must have come across. Anyone? If you know the answer, you can ping in the chat window or you can speak. That is also fine. Yes. Okay, so diagrammatic representation of frequency table. Perfect. Anyone else? Anything to add? So it's basically, what you said is right. It's basically the distribution of the data, right? How your data is distributed. Okay, so whatever analysis we do, before that we want to see if the data is good. I think you must have used proc univariate procedure, right? Proc univariate procedure, and you must have plotted the histogram for that. Now in Tableau, also we can do that. We can look at the frequency, distribution of the data by plotting this histogram by frequency. Now I'll go to the new sheet. Just follow the steps which I'm doing. Okay. Now I am at sales cost and I'm clicking on this arrow and going to create, and there is a bins option. Now this bin option, you will not find it when you click on the dimension. Okay. Do you see bin option here? The bin option, you will get it when you click only on the measure, on the numeric columns. Okay, I'm clicking on this bins option. Now, sales cost bin by default the name is assigned. Now here I want to give it as 50. You will understand what is that 50. And I do okay. So what I did, I went to sales cost, went to this create, and clicked on this bin, and the bin got created here. If you want to see, you will go and do an edit. So I'm breaking my data into the difference of 50-50 parts. You will see when I plot the chart. Okay, now the bin which I have created, you see whenever you create a bin, the icon is different. So this is like the distribution of the data, right? Now I'll select this and drop it onto the columns. You see the difference, like the bin size I gave 50, so it is arranged by 50, right? So 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, and so on. Now I have created a bin for sales cost. I will now drag this sales cost onto the rows, and since someone said about frequency, right? Diagrammatic representation of frequency. It is a sum. Now what I want a frequency. So I'll go to measure and I would say count. Okay, now this is the so on which column we are trying to see the diagrammatic representation. Which column? Can anyone tell in this example? Yeah, sales cost. So it's like in your data set you have all the sales cost, right? 100 rows, let's say you have 100 values of sales cost. You want to look at how the data is distributed in that sales cost, the data which we collected, right? Now what does this say? Is you know less than 99 there are 50 records. So it is like 50, 100, right? So from 100 to 149 will fall under this bucket. From 50 to 99 will fall under this bucket. That means below 99 there are two sales cost. From 100 to 149 there are 10 sales cost. That means there are 10 rows. Now if you do the same thing, if you look at the same thing, you would notice that okay, that means there are a lot of rows in my data which are falling between 650 to 1049, right? Because here are, you would see a lot of bars. These are nothing but the number of rows, right? So you would see most of the data. You could still, if someone asks, okay, how is the data distribution? You can just create those bins, and you could say that most of the data is falling between 650 to 1049. Some of the data is here, so there are no records which are falling between 250 and 299. There are no such records, right? So the bars are low here, bars are low here, but we could say that most of them are falling here. Can you not try this out? You'll understand. So first thing is create a bin. So let me again go and explain. So click on the arrow, go to create, and create a bin, because we want to distribute it, right? And what is the difference you want to look at, like 50, 100, 150, the bucket. Now I have already created a bin, so let's go and do edit. So try to create this bin. Yeah, is to create intervals. Yeah. Okay, so once you create bin with this size, I hope everyone is done till here. Now you drag. Once you have the bin, right? Drag that bin onto the columns, sales cost onto the rows. But sales cost, you know, any numeric column you drag it by default, it will be sum, right? It will be sum. You want to change that to frequency count because I want to know, how many number of observations, how many number of observations falling under which bin size, which interval. So change that to count. And how do we do that? Click on the arrow, go to measure, and you would see the count instead of sum. Done, everyone. If any one of you are done, ping in the chat window. Whoever is done. Okay. Okay, if you're done, please ping in the chat window. Otherwise, I'll not come to know if everyone is done or not, so that I can move to the new topic. Yeah, always. Yeah. Okay. Now, let me continue. Today we will be looking at some other charts. It is called heat map and tree map and waterfall chart. Okay. Um, so what is the heat map? So when you have the data, if you're trying to create any chart, you can show sales by each department. You can show, sales by month on month, year over year. You can show those numbers, right? But instead of, showing the actual numbers, you can represent the data in the form of colors. I repeat, like instead of showing the data as numbers, you can create a table in Tableau and you can show the actual numbers, right? But instead of doing that, you can show the same data in the form of colors. That is what heat map is about. So graphical representation of data set in which values are represented as colors. Heat maps are a great way to compare the data across two categories. So, whenever if anyone is looking at this, you know, if you're looking at the same example, you would have that question, why few cells are very light, few cells are, very dark in color, right? So if you want to give this kind of a view, because our attention would, directly go to the ones which are dark, right? That means, see, we are doing good on the sales, the ones which are lighter, we are not doing good in the sales. So if you want to have this kind of a view, you will always go for a heat map. Okay, now let me go to the sheet. Now let me drag. So you have this year, and let me do this as month. Now let me drag few other columns. Let me drag Okay, so I've dragged two columns to the rows and one column in the column section. Right now, this is the table which got created. Right. So on the columns you see these two, on the rows you see this, and by default it shows ABC because we are not looking at any numeric column. So if you want any numeric column, what you do since you want sales call, you will drag and drop it onto the text. You will see those numbers. That means how much is my sales in January for this item category for this country. That is how we read it. Right? Now let me remove this. Now sales cost, let me drag it onto the size. So automatically what it did, it you know put this shape over here. Now let me drag this sales quantity onto the colors. Now you see few of them are lighter in color, few of them are darker in color. So can someone tell me, uh, first, why the squares, some squares, okay, let me increase the size so that, okay, can you tell why some of the squares are big, some of them are small? Anyone? Okay, Vamshi is saying size is based on sales quantity. Is it true? Look at the marks card properly. Look at the marks card. Yeah. So, what is the size here, right? This is a image, this is a logo. Now, here you will see all the list of columns which you have dragged. So, best way is, okay, if you're not aware, like, okay, size, that, okay, this is how the logo looks like. Check for if there is any similar logo. Okay, I find this. Now, which column is that on the size? Sales cost. Sometimes what happens is you drag things, but we are not sure. Okay, where did we drag? So by looking at these logos, you can identify. So the size, the size of these squares depends on the sales cost, isn't it? That means more the sales cost, more the size of the squares. That is one thing. Now, can you all tell about the color? Is there any significance of the color? Few of them are darker, few of them are lighter. Now the color is being taken care by sales quantity column. I've dragged it onto the color. That means, you know, the more the darker the color, more the sales quantity. So if I want to, interpret this square, let's say in March, cellular and country US, this one. So what does this tell me? This tells me that, you know, in March, the sales cost is good, as well as the sales quantity is also good. Both are good here. So this is a different way. Yeah, both sales cost and sales quantity is good. But if you look at this, right, it's not always like, if sales cost is, the square is big compared to, this smaller one here, but the color is light. That means, the sales quantity is low, even if the sales cost is high. Yeah, Vamshi, you have a question?
So, Seenu, if I want to look at the contribution percentage, for example, for India, how much so if you can put the item category in columns and assume that, for India, for cellular, how much is the contribution? So, how do I do it?
We will do that. Yeah, so we'll jump to other topics. So, we will look at all the different types of calculations available. So Tableau provides, a lot of table calculation. You don't have to write any code. So if I go here, um, you see this quick table calculate all the percentages and everything which you're talking about, right? The
Yeah.
ranking, percentile, moving average, difference, all these options are available. So we will see all those options when we reach that topic, yeah. Otherwise,
Okay.
we'll get confused.
Okay then.
Yeah, it is there. We will see all those options. At least now this you got it, like, what was your objective representing the actual data in terms of color, and that is what we did. Can you all try these steps? I'll show you other method also, other way also. Try this at least. And you can change the colors also, right? So if you go to the right hand side and do edit colors, now there's there's a lot of meaning on the colors also, huh? Sometimes you want to choose from the colors. Even colors tells us the story. So it's like always, if you're doing good, we represent by green. If you're not doing good, we represent by red, something like that, right? Now let me select, red, green, diverging. You can have mix of colors. So red and green. So and you can see the scaling here. It automatically tells us the ones which is low, like it is towards 50, minimum is 50. Ones which is more, it is towards green. You can interchange also. Now do okay. Now this gives a good picture. See, even if the square is big, but it is towards the color is red. That means we're not doing so good on the sales quantity. Here we are doing good in terms of both. This gives a good view. So the colors are also critical. Yeah, how to increase the size of the square? You have the size in your marks card. Okay, so go to size and increase this. And you always see whatever column you drag, whatever options you are clicking it, the good way of learning these visualization tools is immediately see what is changing, right? Then you will have in your mind that, okay, if I do this particular task, if I do this action, this is what it happens to the chart, something like that. Yes, everyone is done. Please ping in the chat window if you're done.
It's done, but the size of table is bit smaller in my window. Don't know the reason.
Size of
Table.
this table, you're saying?
Yeah,
Yeah, it
table
could
is
be like
small.
resolution, system resolution. Yeah, yeah, that's fine.
But
It could be, my system resolution will be high. Yeah.
I don't feel so. That might be the reason. Can I share my screen and you can check?
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, share your screen.
Are you able to view?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so what you do is, take the mouse on those rows and you would see an arrow. Just drag it below. This,
Uh,
yeah, take the mouse.
this
No,
row.
no, no. I mean on the actual data only, where you see cellular, cosmetics, electronics. Yeah,
Okay.
take the mouse and you would see some arrows to drag down. Yeah, just take the mouse.
But
No,
I'm not
not
able
there.
to.
No, no, you got those options. Okay, do Control
Okay.
Z, undo.
Mm.
See, just take the mouse on the border of the row. Yeah, you can. That is, you're looking at horizontal. You want to drag horizontal. Vertical, I'm saying vertical.
I think.
Just between cellular and cosmetics, just below, just between cellular and cosmetic, you will see an arrow. Just take the mouse little bit slowly, slowly.
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, that arrow. Drag,
Yeah, it.
drag it above. Yeah, you would see a little bit better. Okay.
Yeah, it's better now. Thank you.
Okay. Let me take the control. Okay. So I hope everyone is done. Anusha, Ramesh, Krishna, Naveen, Rajshekhar, Shanmuka, Shiva, Siddharth, Shrinu, Turaka, Venkat, Vamshi. Okay. Now you can increase the size, right? You can increase the size as well, but that becomes two. Okay. Now let me go. This is another way of representing, your data in the form of colors. Now I'm going to the new sheet. Now what I want to do is, let's say, I'm selecting this department. I'm selecting this profit. Two columns I have selected. You got a requirement saying you want to build a chart basis on these two columns. I've selected it. Now, as I showed in the demo, like we have the show me option as well, right? Sometimes what happens is when you get the requirement, you are not very much sure, okay, whether I create a bar chart, whether I create a line chart, anything you can do by using these two columns, right? Now, if you go to the show me, you have all these options which are enabled. That means the wins which are enabled, you can build those. Few things are, grayed out. That means you cannot build those basis on these two columns because some charts might require more than two columns. Some charts would require, two measures. There will be some certain parameters, but you don't have to worry about it. Once you select the columns, what you're looking at, go to show me. Then let's say the one which we are looking at right now is tree map. Sorry, heat map, right? This one. So how did I come to know this is heat map? At the bottom you see for heat map it is giving that option. So I am going and selecting this from here. So you don't have to drag it manually. You just select the columns, go and select the heat map. Automatically, you see department it drag to the rows, profit, which is the numeric column, it drag to the size. This is another way of doing it by using show me. Can you all try this out? This also. So select any of the columns, not only department. Select any column, any numeric column. Go to show me, and create this heat map. Done? Okay. Now, that was on the heat map, graphical representation of the data in the form of colors and sizes, right? If you go to the slides, you also have some hands-on exercises, and I hope the format which you are seeing after every topic you have some hands-on exercise, and I hope everyone is working on them after the classes. Okay. Now, next is tree map. Now, if you look at this view, it is somewhat similar to this heat. So by looking at these two views, can you identify there's something different in tree map? Anyone? It is also graphical representation of data, but what is different in this? Okay, color is different. Okay, okay, matter. Yeah, those things will be always be there, right? The colors would be different. The columns would be different. I'm not talking about those things, but if you look at overall structure of the charts, you would see something different. Okay, there is some answer. Let me read out. Sizes depends on values. Okay, that is acceptable. That you already know if you drag it onto any of the size. Okay, axis label is not there. Okay, let me answer. So it is also graphical representation, but mhm,
Sorry to interrupt, but the previous one regarding the heat map, I'm not. The other options are disabled in my window. The other way you told to create that heat map.
yeah, select department, select profit. You must have not selected the column. You have to select by using control key. So if you select department, you want to select if you just select profit, department will be get unselected. So press control, select department, select profit. These two things should be highlighted. Now you go and click on show me.
Okay.
From the keyboard, press the control while selecting more than one column. Done, Pooja?
Uh, no, just a minute. Department and then profit. I need to press control key and hold it. Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, now it's appearing, but they all are in the marks window, marks section. I need to drag the department to column rows.
Yeah, rows. Okay.
And the sum of
Now,
profit is with the size logo.
yeah, it automatically gets dragged because once you select the column, you are telling that show me. So when you create a heat map, it will automatically understand it will drag the profit for us. So it dragged sum of profit onto the size.
Okay. But in my case, it's appearing something in different manner. I
Can you
can
share your screen?
sharing it. Yes.
So you have selected, right.
I have dropped it here. Then,
Yeah.
but here sum of profits. Yeah, this one. Okay. I think now it's
Okay,
fine. But
delete everything. What is now it's coming, right? Yeah. Yeah, the one which you have selected is a tree map. The one which you have selected After selecting, I click on that.
This one?
It is a tree map. Yeah, this is a tree map. At the bottom, you see, it is giving some information for tree map.
I Yes, I can see for tree maps by one or more dimensions and one or two measures.
So it is a tree map. The second chart from the top, first row, second chart is the heat map. First row, second
Oh,
chart,
okay, okay,
next
this
right.
one.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay, these are the same thing.
So we are here. It's showing that for different department, the what is the profit? Correct.
Profit, yes.
Okay, okay.
Okay, let me take the control. So we looked at two different ways. You can drag it and create a tree map manually, or you can take help of the show me also, right? Now, in the tree map, this is also graphical representation, but you would see that the data points are, in some kind of orders. It is hierarchical. That means it is grouped together. That means all the green ones are for something, all the blue ones are for something, all the orange ones relate to something, right? So we have grouped. Here we have not grouped it. You can take any values, right? Am I looking at, all the greener ones here, all the lighter ones here? No, right? But this is a tree map where you can look at the hierarchical data. So to show a lot of information in a very small amount of area. So sometimes what happens is, uh, let's say, all the different states you want to show, all the states in the country. Okay, let me take another example. All the cities, maybe. All the cities. So if you look at, different cities, let's say in Hyderabad, different cities which will be there, all of them would have a hierarchy. If you take Hyderabad, so that would be having one color. Let's say if we take Mumbai, all the different cities, areas in Mumbai would be having one color. So this will give us a clear picture on the related items. So my focus would go on, okay, what is happening in Hyderabad, what is happening on the cities of Mumbai, and so on. Now let me build a view, then you will get some clarity. So I'll go to a sheet. Let's say I'm dragging any column to the color. So here I have dragged country onto the color. One second, there's some disturbance. Okay, I have dragged country onto the colors, and you would see these three values. And what does this blue represents? And you have the legend on the right hand side, India, UK, US. That means blue ones are for India, orange ones are for UK, red ones are for US. And how did you get these? Because we have dragged the column. So if I show you again, if I drag it to the colors, it will show it. Let's drag it to the text, it will show the actual text, right? I'm dragging it onto the colors. Now, customer location, under each country there will be several locations, right? The same like example of cities I gave. Now these locations I will drag it onto the labels. Now what do you see different here? Can someone guess? Can you see something different here in terms of coloring? Right, so the locations in our example under that country having same color. So if you're looking at India, Andhra Pradesh and Mumbai would have same color. US, New York, and Washington have the same color. By each country, we are coloring it. How we are doing that? Because we have dragged country onto the colors first, and then the location onto the text. Now, here we have talked only about numeric columns, right? But we want to show some. We have looked at character columns, but we want to look at numeric column, whether it could be a profit or anything. Now, let me drag this sales cost onto the size. So this is what a tree map is, where it will show the hierarchies. This is for one country, Washington, New York. This is for India, and this is for US. Now, the sales cost, we have dragged it onto the size, right? Now you might have question why Washington is first. Why not New York here? Why not Washington here? Can you guess why it is showing Mumbai in the blue and then AP? Yes, because the size depends on the sales cost column, which I have dragged. That means the more the sales cost, the more the size. So the bigger the size, the first it will be. This gives a clear picture. You would have hundreds of cities, but out of those hundreds of cities, which are doing good? So let's say instead of customer location, I drag, do we have here? So this is a different view. I'm looking at my coloring now is by item category. So if I look at one item category, let's say this is cellular. In cellular, which location is doing good? Mumbai, New York, then Washington, then AP, then Bristol. At the bottom, you have London, which is not showing good. This is a different way of representing your data, but you could see that it is in the form of hierarchy. We are grouping and showing certain values together. And you would have a question, okay, how do we decide on which column? It all depends on the requirement. When you get a requirement to build any project, you will take a call, okay, what will be the best? Some kind of a creativity is also involved, while working on any visualization tools. So you see that, okay, it would, I will show within each country, I will show different locations, and I will show it with same color. That will be a little bit easy for the end users to you know look at the data, something like that. Okay, can you all do this? I'll give a couple of minutes. So drag the steps which I have showed. First, drag customer country onto the colors, then drag customer location onto the label, then drag sales cost onto the size. You should see the similar view, and let me know once you're done. Okay, done. And obviously you can change the color also, right? So how do we change the color? Go to edit, you select, okay, for India I want to make it green, for UK I want to make it red, for US I want to make it yellow, and do okay. The colors would change accordingly. Now, the other shortcut which Pooja was doing in the earlier example is, she selected the customer country by the department. She looked at by department, and then, she went to show me and looked at this tree map. It will also give the same thing, right? But the color, they've dragged it onto the sales cost. I don't want it by sales cost. I want it by country. You will get the same thing. US ones together, India ones together. So whenever you use show me, right, at least the basic structure would get created. All the columns which you have selected would get dragged accordingly onto the mark. Tableau will do it for you, but then you can do the small changes as per your requirement. It's not like what show me drags it onto size color. We have to stick to that. No, you can take a call, but at least it builds you a structure and the columns it will show. Then you can do those little modifications to arrive at the view which you're looking at. Also try with this show me.
Default appearance is higher at the top and lower at the below. Appear
Hmm.
means in the terms of.
Right. So within that group, yeah, right. Within that group, since we have dragged something on the size, right? Because if the sizes are uniform, that means we have not dragged anything onto the sales cost. We have dragged it onto the size. So sales cost is taking care of these sizes. The more the sales cost, more this square. Done. Okay, now one other thing before we end for today, I want to show is, you have a lot of space here, right? You have a lot of space here. So sometimes, you can take any of these spaces. If you want to show more information on this, box. Now, what we can do is, let's say I want to show department. It will still break it down. So what I did, I have dragged another column, department. So under Washington, it is breaking it by the department: accounting, sales, finance. Under New York, audit, sales, and finance, and so on. You can break them up. Now, if you go to the tool table, when you show this, people usually may not be aware. Okay, what is this US main? What is this Washington main? You want to give some naming to it. So what I do is I'll go to label section, text section, and since we have dragged two columns, two values it is showing because of these two, since we have dragged it. Now in front of that you can do something like this. Okay, this is what this is: country, this is location. You can do okay, you see, in front of it. Now you can do some formatting stuff also, like you can select this country, make it bold, increase the size, increase, change it to some different color. You can also do that, you see. The labeling, we are doing a labeling. Now let's say on this I want to look at profit. It is showing some number. I've dragged it onto the label, but we want to give, okay, what is this 4190? When you take the mouse over, it is showing this like profit. See, 4190, sales cost is this much. But if you want to give it on the chart itself, you can give some label to it. So this is what my profit is, something like this. Can you all try this out?
how you edited that label? I'm not able to do it.
Go to label section,
You just clicked it.
go to text.
Hmm.
Yeah, click on those dots. It will open up this window.
Okay.
Okay, done. Okay, so we will continue these sessions. We will look at the waterfall chart. And if I go here, so tomorrow we will look at different kinds of charts, around 6 to 7 charts. Like you already know bar chart, we will look at line chart, pie chart. There's something called as word cloud and bubble, all these things. And tomorrow I'll also be giving a project. Okay, since we will not be having any sessions on weekend, Saturday and Sunday, tomorrow I will be giving a project where you will be using some of these charts. We will be building the dashboard from the scratch. So don't miss the session. So we will connect back tomorrow. Yeah. So till then, go to the slides, and after every topic, there are hands-on exercises. If you have not done that yet, please go and do it. For every topic, we are doing hands-on in the classes. That is fine. But you want to have some additional, hands-on as well after the sessions. So please spend some time. Okay. Okay. So thank you, everyone. We will connect tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.